Why do you think customers are choosing Airbnb over hotels?
Yeah, so even before COVID, I'll kind of talk pre-COVID and post-COVID, but before COVID, a lot of business travelers in the beginning wanted to have more of a local experience. I know Joe, you might have traveled in your careers. I did a lot of travel back in the day as well. It's not a pleasant experience coming in and out of a hotel every day, and especially if you're doing it 3 or 4 times a month. And so to be able to latch onto a local experience and kind of make it consistent, we have a lot of repeat business for people that are coming in that are familiar with that location. And so, that I think in the beginning, a lot of the business comes from that kind of the business traveler wanting to have that local experience, have a more convenient space to work and operate within, whether it's a backyard with a deck or a full kitchen or what have you. But beyond that, I think, and a reason why, Airbnb, I think, has been so successful is more of this community feel. The host actually review the guests review the host. And so there's this kind of give and take of making sure that, we both have a good experience. And, I think a lot of the other travel platforms that have tried to kind of compete with that, it's more of a culture thing. It's a more of some of the things that Airbnb has taken out of the equation for the guests and the host to deal with. They handle all the payments. They handle all of the technology involved with the booking and the communication with the guest and the review process, and as well as the resolution process. So there's a lot of key things that they've kind of done well. And then beyond the kind of the one-off business travelers, the other thing that's kind of been attributed to their success is large groups traveling together, right? So if your family has a 12-year-old son that's in a baseball tournament, they have to go travel, and they're going with other family members or other team members. You can get a 5-bedroom home for 250 to 300 a night for up to 10 people potentially, versus a hotel for 5 different hotel rooms for that same nightly rate. It's just an economic decision. So it becomes a combination of convenience as well as the definite savings in dollars that people can do by joining together. Business travelers are doing the same thing. They're getting 3, 4, 5-bedroom homes instead of getting multiple hotel rooms, and for the same reason.
Got it. And I guess what you're saying is like a different social dynamic between the guest and the host. And the host communicate a lot more with the guests and can provide different services than if you're staying at the hotel, correct?
That's right. And obviously it's comparable to like Uber, right? Compared to a taxi experience. Everything's done on the app. It's self check-in. Everything's communicated that way. There's electronic locks. There's a lot of technology that most hosts employ to kind of make that experience that much easier. They don't, most hosts don't, even though it's Airbnb kind of bed and breakfast, hosts typically are not there to welcome the guests. It's usually kind of hands off, self check-in. There are some hosts that actually rent out individual rooms as well as individual couches. That's how really Airbnb started with the founders in San Francisco, with an air mattress and a sleeper sofa for a conference that got overbooked in town. And the first 2 Airbnb customers were business travelers coming to that conference, and they just put them up on an air mattress and their sleeper sofa. So there are still listings on Airbnb today that you can actually rent a couch for $20 a night. So it fits the whole gamut. But I think no matter what you do in this space, you're always going to get 80 to 90% of your revenue and bookings through Airbnb, and there's a reason for that. They've kind of figured out some of the pieces that make this successful.